Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to have a look at 6 really great men's fragrance adverts from the last 50 years and give my reaction to them and just share some thoughts on those with you. Before we get into that, some of you regular viewers of the channel may know that I've sometimes mentioned a troll, or should we call him a friend of the channel, called Dr. Kramen's Bulovich, who sends me very odd emails, and I don't make these up. These are genuinely from an unknown person. He sent me another one. It's a little anecdote, which I did find entertaining. He's invited me to come and stay with him at his house, which he claims is in Milton Keynes. Impossible at the moment, I'm afraid, Dr. Bulovich, due to the current lockdown, but I did enjoy the story that you shared with us, so I'm going to narrate that for you guys now. Title of email: Hey Cloth Ears. Cloth Ears, I said, are you coming up for a few days? One of our old friends is coming up tomorrow for the rest of the week. He's on furlough. Glyn Trunk, a lovely guy. He used to work at Weatherspoon and would steal the little tomato ketchups, sugars, HP sauces, salts and vinegars and would give them to me, never charge me a bean. This would be great if we got fish and chip suppers, as I could use the little sachets to coat the chips in tomato sauce. He would never charge me a bean. One day he was finishing a shift and he started having a play fight with Johnny, the work joker. Johnny whacked Glyn in the middle area and a load of the ketchup sachets exploded. First Johnny thought Glyn was bleeding. The manager came over, then it came to light that it wasn't blood, it was Heinz ketchup sachet explosions. The manager said, "You rotten apple, you've been stealing condiments." Glyn was instantly dismissed. He hasn't worked since. Of course, I now have to buy ketchup bottles, but I do save money by buying the Bart's ketchup at Lidl for 56p. So it will be good to see Glyn. I will treat him to a cod roe and chips. So let me know when you will come. I will make the bed. Okay, so thank you very much to the doctor for that story. Lovely stuff. I hope he enjoys the cod roe and chips with his friend there. Okay, so the subject for today, I'm going to look at men's fragrance adverts for the last 50 years. I've just picked 6 kind of random, but covering a few ones that I kind of like or find amusing or intriguing in some way or other. My fragrance of the day, quick scent check for you guys: Pinard Clubman Aftershave. Great stuff, really classic powdery barbershop scent, and you can get this from executiveshaving.co.uk with my special code Smelly10. There's a link in the description that will get you 10% off across their website, and there's a load of other really good affordable fragrances there too. Check them out. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got 6 really great fragrances. Over the years, fragrance adverts have changed quite a lot, as you might expect. But there are some consistent themes, and one thing that people are always still looking for, that we still talk about in our reviews, is that maybe the idea that a men's fragrance will make you attractive to other people, specifically usually women, and that's definitely going to feature in most, but not all, of these upcoming videos. So before we do that, always nice to get good feedback or the idea that a fragrance might make you attractive to women, and luckily for me, we had a great example of that this week on the Brooklyn Fragrance Lover channel, where he had a video about sexiest men's fragrances in the opinion of female reviewers. Thank you to Curly Sense for this opinion on Gravitas.
If you think this is another average aromatic fougere, then you thought wrong. While it does scream class and maturity, it also has an undeniably warm, sexy and comforting feel to it. To me, it's incredibly addictive and definitely something that will make me want to get closer to the man that wears this.
Music to my ears. There's a link in the description if you'd like to buy my fragrance Gravitas, put on by my brand Naughton & Wilson. Fantastic fougere fragrance, which I'm very proud of. Okay, so let's get into the video. I'm going to go in chronological order with these, so let's have a look. The first one then is High Karate Aftershave, and it's a quite famous series of ads that ran in the UK here with the actress Valerie Leon. Let's have a look.
High Karate Aftershave. Use too much and you're asking for trouble, because just one whiff drives women wild. Makes men irresistible. Fortunately, every pack of High Karate contains essential instructions on self-defense. High Karate Aftershave. Be careful how you use it.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Yeah, there was a whole series of these with the rather attractive actress Valerie Leon. She was kind of well known over here in the UK, but quite largely due to those adverts. I think she was also in some Carry On films and that kind of stuff, maybe some Hammer horror type stuff. And of course, this is a very inexpensive fragrance, of course, and a really okay fragrance still that you can get today. It's kind of not a million miles away from things like this, but I actually prefer Pinard Clubman, so I won't go into the actual fragrances too much. I don't think it's anything special apart from just having a fun name and the whole theme. But I love the advert. It's a great theme there, a bit witty and funny, which is always good in a fragrance advert, and a very inexpensive fragrance. So, you know, it's not something you'd see in a Dior advert, I don't think, or a Chanel advert. They're going for a fun and affordable kind of fragrance and a kind of fun vibe with the whole thing there. Is it sexist? Well, kind of, you could say nowadays, but I don't feel there's anything really exploitative about the woman's role in the video. You know, it's just playing on the idea that the fragrance makes the guy irresistible to this lady who, well, maybe she can't control herself. I mean, it's a very unrealistic advert. It's giving us a hope that is clearly ridiculous, but I think that no one would seriously believe that. I love the guy's face in the food, the slapstick comedy there. It was a slight metaphorical moment with the sausages in there. I don't know. Very, very, very light-hearted, jolly good stuff. Makes it stick in your head. And there were a whole load of them with a kind of similar series of events with the man who, you know, looks like he'd be punching a long way above his weight, with all due respect to pull her, I have to say. So, and that's still the hope, isn't it, for many of us, that it can lift us a couple of leagues up in our aspirations in the kind of woman we could meet. So really great stuff from the 70s there. The fragrance itself, nothing special in my opinion, it's okay. Let's do one more from the 70s then. This is Denim Aftershave. I think this is from the very late 70s. And this is, I have peeked at this one already, very intriguing advert indeed.
Splash it on, shake it on, spray it on. Denim makes Christmas go with a bang. Denim for the man who doesn't have to try too hard.
Wow, okay, so this is full of metaphors and symbolism, I think, absolutely, even more overtly playing on the idea that you're going to be sexy to women if you wear this fragrance. Kind of like it. So the images in the first few seconds there, the blowing up of the blowing by the woman, I can't help but feel that that's making a pretty obvious subliminal point there. The squirting and splashing of things all over the place. I have to say, I think that is an attempt to play on our subconscious, and it's sexual imagery to me, but not overtly, and nothing obscene or disgusting about it. So I think kind of clever, but again, you wouldn't see this in a Chanel, Dior or Yves Saint Laurent advert, I don't think. Denim, of course, a very affordable classic aftershave. I've actually got a bottle. Quite nice, actually, that one, if you like things like Aramis, the original cologne. It's really in the ballpark of that, maybe a little bit fresher. Ridiculously cheap, but it seems to last okay. So good fragrance, but yeah, definitely would be known even then as a very affordable fragrance. Got the woman's red nails there. It's going to make Christmas go with a bang. I mean, I don't know if you could get away with that nowadays. I think it might be deemed a bit dodgy, but it's not really grotesquely offensive to me, that kind of thing. So in some ways I like the old 70s style of talking about the world and life, which was a bit more honest maybe in the way many of us would talk, let's face it, to a friend about stuff, and I don't think there's a problem with that. So but yeah, definitely a sign of the time, definitely the kind of thing you wouldn't see in adverts, even from cheaper brands today, I don't think. Great advert, and then again the kind of rising, floating moment of the balloons with the fragrance. Would something else be rising in the bedroom? I don't know, but definitely a lot of symbolism there. A kind of tacky advert for a slightly cheap and affordable fragrance that is quite nice, actually, and worth a go still in today's formulation. Moving on then, we're going to go to 1982 advert, I believe, for Chanel's Antaeus.
A new dimension in men's fragrance. Antaeus pour homme from Chanel. Beyond the ordinary.
Totally different kind of advert there. more sophisticated, I think, in the way that it's trying to make us interested in the fragrance. Interesting, of course, that we would now think of Antaeus as a very old school classic fragrance, and they're saying it's a new dimension in fragrances. It's something new, something out of the ordinary. At that time, of course, Chanel, I'm just thinking, unless I'm completely mistaken, their first release was Chanel Pour Monsieur, for the first release for men, in 1955. I don't think there was another male release until this one. Nothing in the 60s or 70s specifically for men, unless I've got this wrong. I don't think there was anything, which tells you a lot about the different kind of world that we live in now, where things come out, every year from brand. Maybe not that often from Chanel as some other brands nowadays, but things have changed a lot. Anyway, the imagery in the ad is definitely hard to obviously see what's going on there. What would have been sort of technically modern kind of sounding dance music or whatever, electronic type of music there in the early 80s. The speeding along the road thing, I don't know really what that's supposed to tell us. And then it cuts to this sort of slightly atmospheric scene with the windows blowing in and the man and the woman's silhouette. So again, there's the idea of attraction between the sexes definitely going on, but in a much more sophisticated and less in your face kind of way, like the way the guy's dressed there, the kind of half-assed attempts by me to dress in that kind of old-fashioned way in my suit jackets and stuff. So I love the way that looks. Notice none of them so far say anything about the way the fragrance smells. They never do they, in fragrance adverts that you see online or even the posters or anything like that. So we always go on about it a lot on YouTube and stuff, but in terms of the general public, it's more about the imagery and the symbolism. And the message there is you are going to be a real successful guy with what looks like it might be quite an attractive woman. They look, wherever they are, with is it on a piano, that thing at the end, they've got some money and that kind of thing. So in aspirational images of a successful life, some kind of weird mystery, maybe the speeding along the highway as we're kind of moving forward in the world now. This is a new something new and unknown in fragrances they're trying to tell us. Like that advert, don't know what it means, but it might plant that idea in my head if I was back in 1981. I need to check out this Antaeus. So clever stuff. Let's move on. 1983 ad now 85 ad apparently for Yves Saint Laurent's Chorus.
The Other Fragrance for Men by Yves Saint Laurent.
Okay, love this ad, really good stuff. So Chorus, 1981 release, now regarded again as a kind of an old school powerhouse fragrance. The advert though, I posted this one I think on Instagram the other day, and someone said it's weird how the fragrance is not at all aquatic it could be regarded as fresh, but it's not a blue aquatic zesty kind of fragrance, but the imagery there is all kind of watery at the beginning, so that's kind of interesting. I like the advert. Again, there's obviously a man and a woman involved coming together. I mean, it's pretty simple. That kind of idea is always there. Here I think we got a little bit more of the focus on the man, and I think fragrance ads for the more sophisticated companies, the designer houses, there tends to be at least equal focus on being a man. That's like, you're going to be like the cool guy or the really well looked after, physically fit guy in the advert if you wear this fragrance. So you could see the guy was in tremendous physical shape there with a great physique, and it's an aspirational thing that this fragrance will give you a bit of that kind of magic, although it can't literally make you or muscly or anything like that. So you get more of that, I think, with the more classy designer houses. But there was also of what looked like a rather attractive lady, and then they disappear behind this thing. So again, the idea of the man and the woman coming together in both these videos, but a little bit more classy. And in both of them, you had a well-dressed man or a very physically fit man, an athletic man diving into the water. So there's more of this idea that you're going to be like this guy. And when you think about it, that happens on YouTube too. The most popular channel is Jeremy Fragrance. He's somebody that a lot of people, whatever you like to say about him, would look at and say, look, he's really physically fit, he's great looking, he dresses in a really smart suit, sometimes he's wearing a Rolex. It's kind of aspirational. You think, I want to be like him, so I'll watch his video. And then of course he also talks a lot about what ladies like, so you get both sides from him. So tapping into the classic ideas there that we still see in these adverts today, which we get a couple of more modern ones coming up. and Jeremy Fragrance, just kind of embodying some of the same ideas. Just an interesting thought. Again, no mention of the smell ever in these ones. Let's move on to the year 2000, and this is an advert for Dior's Fahrenheit, which by then had been around for over 10 years. And let's check this one out. Okay, interesting stuff. Very different kind of advert here. So I can remember adverts in the very late 80s and early 90s. I think there was a Calvin Klein one on the beach that had this very mysterious vibe and a bit of a WTF type reaction, like what does this have to do with any kind of fragrance? When we watched them, I remember thinking that back then, that they're a bit almost pretentiously artistic. And this one falls into that category, definitely. You kind of wonder what was the pitch for the person who came up with the advert to the company, saying, okay, there's going to be this guy, he's in the middle of the desert and he's going to throw a rock and it bounces and he stands near a ship. Why is that in the desert? It's all weird and mysterious, but what the hell does that have to do with Dior Fahrenheit? The first one then, with no woman in the video and no idea that it's going to make you sexy to women. So kind of more sophisticated and artistic in that way, and you do get that a little bit with some of the houses, the Chanel's and the Dior's, and people do adverts that are very artistic, and they don't always go into this thing of, oh, let's be sexy to the opposite sex. So I kind of like that about it. But what I don't get is what it has to do with the fragrance, or why it would particularly obviously make me think, oh, Fahrenheit sounds like a good fragrance. I guess, well, he's in the desert, so I guess it's hot there. The fragrance is called Fahrenheit, so that's interesting. But the imagery there was of a guy, he looked like a little bit more of an average kind of guy, like maybe the everyman, or we can see ourselves in him, but we don't know why he's in the desert. We don't know what he's doing there, and we don't know what on earth it has to do with the fragrance Dior Fahrenheit. But I found this an artistic advert, and it maybe just kind of sticks in your head, and you're like, oh wow, fragrances are so mysterious, and it plays some clever little trick in our minds. But I'd love to know if anyone knows more about how they come up with those kind of ads and why that is thought to be a good way to advertise a fragrance, things like that, or Calvin Klein ones where there's kind of stuff going on that you don't get. How does that make us buy a fragrance? It must be successful, because these companies wouldn't be spending all the money on the ads if it wasn't. 20 years old, that one, so maybe things have moved on. So a more recent one now, this is La Nuit de l'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent, and a Vincent Cassel advert from, I'm not sure the year, but very soon after it came out. A couple of minutes long, this one. I actually must say I really like this advert. I think it's really good. Okay, so the most complicated and mysterious ad of the bunch by a long way, and I really like this advert. It's intriguing, isn't it? Lots going on there. So you've got Vincent Cassel, the actor, and perhaps if I knew more about supermodels, maybe those are supermodels or maybe even actresses whose names I should know. But there's two women, so he's being a dirty dog there. Victor Cassel playing these two women off against each other. I'm not sure what's going on. There's this weird symbol that seems to be some kind of secret club that he's in, or do they know about it too? What's going on there? He's got you wondering. The music's quite good and mysterious and intriguing. This guy's very enigmatic, charismatic and yet enigmatic at the same time by the looks of him. Kind of good looking, but in a slightly not just like a really good Brad Pitt good looking guy. He's kind of got almost a kind of weird face, no offense, but you know, kind of a striking physical appearance about this guy. Very, very darkly dressed, so he's kind of enigmatic, mysterious. I like all that. He's kind of someone you might like to be, I think. So I don't know what he's gone to this concert. He doesn't care if he moves his chair and everyone looks around. He doesn't care. And then he's gone off for a few drinks, got a night out on the Lash, a club at the end. Could have maybe put in the kebab on the way home, but you know, they decided not to go with that. So they but don't know quite what's going on. He's definitely got something going on with both these two. Maybe if I watched it more, I'd understand the storyline. I should have read up on it. And of course, none of it has anything specifically to do with the fragrance. La Nuit de l'Homme, of course, a nice, really popular fragrance and talked about a lot in our fragrance community. A little bit more dark and sweet than some of the fragrances out there, but still pretty accessible, nothing too weird and exotic. But yeah, would go quite well with dressed in that dark suit or something like that. So that would be great. But it's all about the imagery, so much more sophisticated there, and that's one of the top ones, I think. Not sure where that would run because it's a long advert, and you don't very often see a 2-minute advert on TV, but maybe in a cinema or somewhere like that, where I feel like you maybe get more of it's almost like a mini film, isn't it? A mini movie, a feature there going on, a story, which I quite like, and some of the brands do that now in their promotional material. So I like that advert, it's really fun. I've no idea what's going on, but I wouldn't mind being in Victor Cassel's shoes there on what looked like a fun night out, and definitely it might actually make me think. I could see that of all of them making me think I actually might want to buy that fragrance. So, you know, maybe not now because I'm a bit more discerning in how I pick a fragrance, but you know, 10 years ago or something, when I was only partially interested in fragrances, I think I might have seen that and thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind a bit of that kind of action. So let's go and get some La Nuit de l'Homme. And I like the name of the fragrance, The Night of Man. So really, really good advert. That's why I picked that one. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below, guys. Any other favourite fragrance ads from over the years? Would you like to see another video like this? And thank you ever so much for watching. I'll leave you with a few of our Gravitas Pour Homme ads that we're going to be running on Facebook and Instagram. Not quite as big budget as these, but let me know what you think about those in the description. Link as ever to buy the fragrances down there too. Thanks for watching. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye bye.
So I find this fragrance shockingly good.
Smelling good.
Yeah?
Yes, it's good. It's fresh. I like it.
I really like this scent. I think it smells super, super sexy and very masculine.
It's so smooth, and there's a creaminess that's from the vanilla. It's so smooth and classy. It's a smooth golden fragrance with a rolling heart of freshness.
What I learned with this fantastic fragrance is that it turns from the initial impression that I had that this is going to be a traditional English fougère, green fougère. It turns into a refined French beauty. This is something that is going into a very, very high quality level. Gravitas Pour Homme, Naughton and Wilson, a great release, very, very brave.